Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Heritage Railway News. This is your channel for anything in regards to Heritage Railway news, mainline movements, steam galas, rail tours and so much more. Coming up this week, full steam ahead for the Haigh Miniature Railway. So yes, it does seem that the Haigh Woodland Miniature Railway, situated in Wigan, not operating since 2020, is coming back to life. Hornby's sales jump. A recent article has just come out in the City AM all about Mike Ashley and how he's worked his magic, and apparently Hornby's sales are now up. And then finally, 7027 Thornbury Castle to be cannibalised. Unfortunately, it has been purchased by the 4709 group. All this and more coming up at Heritage Railway News. So yeah, a recent article has literally only just come out the other day, and it's all about how the council, the local council Wigan, have backed the Haigh Woodland Miniature Park Railway to get up and running, which is really positive news. So yeah, the Haigh Woodland Park is situated in Wigan, and now the resurrection of the railway itself is part of a multi-million-pound scheme to revamp Haigh Hall and the park itself. Now, for those that are not familiar with the railway, it's a 15-inch gauge miniature railway that's 1.6 kilometres in length and stops at 2 stations along the route. The railway was first opened in 1986 and has been loved by many people who have visited. The railway came to a sudden halt in 2020 due to COVID and has not been used since. Well, thanks to an enthusiastic bunch of individuals, the railway is receiving £380,000 in the form of a grant for a Levelling Up scheme from the council.
Hi, here we are at Haigh Woodland Park for a fantastic announcement today that the train will be coming back. There's been a lot of work done it over the years with volunteers, but we've actually got a massive announcement that the council put massive investment into this, which is a family favourite. People talk about it every day. People have got memories going back. We want new memories to be made on this railway. The volunteers have done a fantastic job, so we can't wait for the finished article. Just watch this as it moves forward, and in a couple of years' time, everything will come together. Nearly £40 million investment in the park for the people of the borough. Fantastic, and we can't wait.
So yeah, the £380,000 investment, in which the whole line will be refurbished, and the railway is earmarked to be operational by 2027 and will feature running weekends and bank holidays. Now, this is part of a £31.5 million investment to improve Haigh Hall, the Woodland Park and the amphitheatre situated there. So with the investment secured for the railway, it looks like trains will be running around the park in Haigh very soon. So yeah, moving on to our next topic of Hornby sales jump. Now, this is a topic that I really wasn't expecting myself to have to discuss this week at all. But there was a recent article that came out in the City AM, and it was all to do with how Mike Ashley has recently come in, and he has managed to turn things around for Hornby, and apparently their sales are up. So yes, the retail tycoon, whose Fraser Group significantly upped its stakes in Kent-based company last February, took up a consultancy role in March. Now, Hornby themselves, in a trading update to the London Stock Exchange, have revealed that its sales and gross profit increase have gone up by 10% in the period from the April the 1st to the 31st of August this year, compared to the same time in 2023. Now, in a statement themselves, Hornby have said, as is usual the case in our industry, the outcome for the full year is subject to the sales rate in the run-up to the key Christmas trading period. Our outstanding order book is strong, with new products still to be released. In addition, D2C involved sales are up 11% on prior year and 56% up on the same period from 2022. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Mike Ashley, he is actually the owner of Sports Direct and House of Fraser, and he literally came in and got 11 million shares within Hornby, and like I said, has come on the board as an advisor. Now, the company is expected to make half-a-year results announcement in November, but if we read between the lines from this article, then it seems Hornby are on track to meet their targets for the rest of the year, and they are up around 10% in profits for this year so far. Now, this obviously begs the question, going back a few weeks ago when Hornby announced that statement, stating that they're going to have to do the price increase, and we all groaned. Check out my previous video if you haven't already seen it. But realistically, if you read between the lines and you looked at the price increases in terms of what their current model prices were and what they're going to go up to, you could sort of put it at around 9 to 12% increase. Now, one has to wonder whether this was a tactic thought of by Mark Ashley and the board into terms of a pressure to buy scenario. By that I mean, when the announcement came out, did it spur people on to buy some of the latest models or pre-order them before the increase happened? Certainly an interesting one, and make sure you subscribe to keep up to date, as we will take a look at the half-year report when it is released sometime in November. But I guess the final question here and the takeaway from all this is, was that price increase justified? I guess only time will tell. And yes, the final topic we're going to run through today, and it's all to do with 7027 Thornbury Castle, unfortunately being cannibalised. Now, it's going to be cannibalised by the 4709 group, who have recently completed the purchase. So it was recently announced that a recent acquisition had been completed for 7027 Thornbury Castle by the 4709 group. So for those of you that are not familiar with this, the 4700 class was a class of 10 locomotives built by the Great Western Railway to haul heavy trains from the West, South West and South Midlands into the London area. Dubbed the Night Owl project, they are aiming to construct number 4709 as a Great Western Railway 4700 class 280 tender locomotive. Unfortunately, they took ownership of Thornbury Castle last year, and now with the announcement that the purchase has been finalised and completed, it looks set that Castle class is going to be cannibalised for the new build. The aim is to use the 7027 boiler for the new build, which is in good condition, but inspection soon will take place and it will determine whether it is viable. It is stated the chassis and other parts of Thornbury Castle will be stored for future projects. Now, I myself, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of the community around, when I turn around and say this is absolutely gutting news in terms of the outcome, absolutely horrendous news. Just when it looked like it was going to be on track, Thornbury Castle was hopefully going to get restored, and then obviously, you know, you had that announcement of obviously the 4709 group looking to try and get hold of Thornbury Castle, and it looks like now they finally got it, and it's just such a shame. I mean, you know, one of the most important classes realistically ever built for British Railways, you know, the Castle class, really famous locomotives, and it's just such a shame that it just looks like this is the outcome now for Thornbury Castle. So yeah, like I stated, the Castle class is one of the most important and famous designs ever created, and unfortunately a number of parties I think are to blame here. The Birmingham Railway Museum was the first to start the cannibalisation when she was purchased from Barry Island and was used for spare parts for her sister locomotives. She was then purchased by Pete Waterman's Trust and was left in a scrapyard state outside Crewe Heritage Centre. Then she was sold to a private individual who intended to restore her before being sold off again and stored at the Great Central Railway in 2022, where restoration had started. Fortunately, it was then announced last year that she was sold to the Night Owl project, and so here we are. So like I say, there's a number of parties here I think you can sort of pin the blame on. Like I said, the Great Central Railway, Pete Waterman's Trust, that private individual who I'm really not sure who they were. Everyone tried to get it sort of up, and realistically I think ourselves are a little bit to blame as well. There were petitions, I think there were sort of GoFundMe projects as well, trying to sort of raise the funds and try and get a petition there for Thornbury Castle, but unfortunately didn't really take off. I think the petition only really got to about 1,500 votes or ticks on there, however that works. And yeah, unfortunately, this is the state of where we are now. Thornbury Castle, I mean, I think the only realistic outcome we can hope for is that that boiler inspection fails, and then maybe she's sold off again and can be restored later down the line. But as it stands, I don't think it's looking too good for Thornbury Castle, and I think we've officially said goodbye to that Castle class, unfortunately. So yeah, that's been Heritage Railway News. I really hope you've enjoyed that. I've revamped it up a little bit this time. I've been toying with the idea for a little while now, not just covering the southeast and sort of covering the whole of the UK as I can, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the news flows in, but it seems to be doing all right so far. Just want to let you know as well, I'm not too sure if the news is going to come out next week, so we're actually on a little spontaneous trip to the Isle of Wight next week, so I might try and film it out there if I can, but if not, there will be some vlogs coming from the Isle of Wight, some really special ones actually, and one coming up from Portsmouth as well, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, just in talks of events very quickly, so if you're around this weekend, you do have the Faversham Model Railway exhibition. That's going to be going on the Saturday and the Sunday. But yeah, just in case I'm not around to do the news, but if I don't see you next week, really hope you've enjoyed that. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. See you guys.